Hey guys, so I made a couple videos on Instagram, and strangely enough, they could not or would not be posted on Facebook. So I wanted the opportunity to be able to share some of my insights with you guys, as well as maybe offer a little bit of, I don't know, not necessarily comfort, but answers to things that are maybe you don't have the answers to, and you know, and I've gotten a lot of messages and calls and DMs, and so I wanted to address those things, and I want to share a couple things with you guys that maybe you don't know, or you have questions to, that, you know, my opinions and my my history with Afghanistan and what I used to do might just be able to clear some things up, or, you know, make you understand some things or feel better. So first, in the video that I made on Instagram, one of them was directed at our veterans, somebody that have served in OEF, and there's a lot of people that are pissed, and rightfully so. You can be pissed. I'm pissed. It's absolutely horrible what is kind of transcribed and what we're seeing over there. But the thing is, it's not your fault. You didn't waste your time. We didn't waste 20 years of our life. What we did was, at the end of the day, as people who served in the military, especially in our capacity, the majority of the people that follow me in your capacity, we're not policymakers. We didn't work for the State Department. We didn't work for an embassy. We didn't work for, you know, POTUS at the time. We were sent there to do a job, period. We were sent there to do a job to keep the wolf at bay. Initially, it was to oust the Taliban. Yes, that happened. But then it was also to stabilize that country and to give people a taste of what we have, right? To give, have women have rights, to protect children. And we did that, right? There could have been, it could have been done better. I wrote an article about that. But at the end of the day, we took the fight to them. And for 20 years, we didn't have anything here, right? For 20 years, we didn't have another 9/11. There is we did our job. And at the end of the day, we went and fought an evil, right? We went and fought an evil. And then the true thing was to make sure that the person to your left and to your right came home. And that was and at the end of the day, that's like the biggest mission, right? So you did not waste your years. You did not wait. Your sacrifice was not wasted, because while you and I volunteered to go do this, America was at the mall. America was doing what America does. They were being free and enjoying their life, and not living in fear, and not living in oppression, and women weren't having to worry about whether they were going to get murdered or some kid was going to get sold as a sex slave. We took the fight to them, and that's what we do. So it was not all for naught. It was not wasted. It was beautiful. I mean, you did your job, and it's amazing. It's amazing that we are from a country that we have the ability to have an all-volunteer force, that there are men and women that says, hey, send me, I'll go, and I will take the fight to them, so that it's not on our doorstep. And I think that's a beautiful thing, and I think that Americans are a beautiful thing. So be proud of that. Do not be, you can be pissed off, but don't go down that dark hole. Don't go down the dark hole thinking that it was all for naught. And if you're watching this and you've been talking to a veteran that's been saying these things, please share this with them. That is all for naught. That we had 20 years that America didn't have to worry about that. Majority of people didn't even know what the hell was going on over there. All right. Whose fault is it? It's not the veterans' fault, because we did our job. All of my brothers and sisters out there that did that, you know, they did their job. The fault, it falls on the policymakers. It's the elected officials. It's the elected officials. It's our commanders. The last year and a half shows you anything. They've been distracted. You've been distracted by this shiny object that we won't say. We won't use any words. because we don't want to have the big man shut us down, because we're trying to share something here. While the military commanders have been pushing an agenda in the military, they have forgotten what their core task is. The commander-in-chief as well, their core task is to keep Americans safe, to keep our country safe, and to take the fight to the enemy, keep the wolves at bay, right? It reminds me of that old Few Good Men, the Jack Nicholson line, where you're all worried about everybody's feelings, but at the end of the day, you need somebody on that wall to keep evil at bay, and that's what we did for 20 years. So be proud of that. This falter is not on us. It was not all for nothing. We had a good 20 years. They dropped the ball. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, troops shouldn't be there, and we shouldn't be in Afghanistan, and we shouldn't do all these different things. So I get what you're saying. You keep in mind that these young men and women are volunteering to go there. All right. We still have troops in Germany from World War II. We still have troops in Japan from World War II. We have kept a contingent in places that have made an impact, such an evil impact on the world, that America chose to never allow it to happen. We literally have troops everywhere all over the world. So everybody that's like, bring our troops home. There was not sustained combat there. Okay. We had a contingent there. It was not sustained combat. It is much better to have, it's not as simple as just pulling out. Like, this doesn't work. You have to have a counter-terrorist force or an anti-terrorism task force there as a contingent to keep what's currently happening from happening. We did not want Afghanistan or Iran or Iraq to become a hotbed for terrorism. We did not want it to be a breeding ground to where we go back to what it was pre 9/11. All right. So 3,500 people being there that are volunteering to be there, it's okay. And a lot of Americans don't understand that. There's a lot of feelings going around in America. They feel like they want their troops home, and they don't want to be in harm's way. I understand that, and you know what? As a father, and as somebody that's gotten older, I appreciate that, and I would not want that for my children either. But at the end of the day, we need strong men and women to go potentially do violence on our behalf. And it really comes down to good versus evil, right? So 3,500 people over there, or however, 4,000 or 10,000, to keep something so evil at bay so that it doesn't land on our doorstep is a good thing. All right. So the fact that they did that, what they did was they just pulled chalks and just left everybody, is a tragedy, is an embarrassment, and just shows that they're not fit to run this country at the end of the day. I mean, you've got just overall bad leadership, bad management. I mean, think about if I saw a thing as far as a business. Imagine that being a CEO, and we're like, hey, we're shutting this down. And this was brilliant. I don't know who made this, but look at it from a business standpoint. Would a businessman, a CEO, shut something down, but then leave all of their people, all the people that work for them, all of their equipment to just get raided? No. You would have a systematic withdrawal of equipment and personnel to where you minimized your loss. All right? That's how you would do it, is if you were a, normal human being that doesn't want to lose, trillions of dollars and loss of life. But that being said, that wasn't the move. The move was to not to pull out of there. The move was to keep a contingent there so that we kept the wolf at bay. All right? Unfortunately, now we're in a situation where that's not the case, and I want you to pay very, very close attention, because it's already happening. Again, to reiterate, not veterans' fault. You guys did a great job. I love you. I support you. Thank you for your service. We did our job for 20 years. America was a safer country because of that. All right. It is the policymakers. So now, where are we at now? So now you're starting to see, and I hate talking about party lines, because at the end of the day, they're all fucked. There's a handful of people out there making good things happen. But at the end of the day, even our Republicans and right side have not done enough and not been voiceful enough in the opposition to balance this thing out. But at the end of the day, sorry, I'm trying not to get fired up. Now we have people talking about Afghan refugees. And what you might not know is the Taliban has seized a large portion of the country, and they have there's a lot of detention camps where had bad guys in there that are now free. And now they are going to be free and looking like Afghan refugees. And how do you know what's an Afghan refugee that's a legitimate one and a terrorist? So if we allow refugees to come to the United States, either through our borders or we just let them in, like what's happening down south, now we've not kept the wolf at bay, but we've invited them into our house. And this is why people are saying, well, we shouldn't have been at war. And I can debate Iraq and Afghanistan all day. I've served in both, and I think there's a lot of bullshit on both sides. I've publicly voiced this, but at the end of the day, when it comes down to good versus evil, we have to keep evil at bay for our children, for our families, because I don't want to drive down the road here and worry about IEDs or getting shot somewhere, or something stupid, or a bomb going off when I'm trying to have breakfast, trying to have brunch with a mimosa with my family. These are things that I like to do as an American. But unfortunately, our leaders don't see it that way, and apparently they don't have the foresight, or something more scary is they do have the foresight to allow this to happen, to continue to derode what we have in America. So what do we do about it? We have to use our voice. We have to use this as much as we can. As sad to say as it's getting turned off, but complaining about it is going to do nothing. If you're not emailing your representatives, your elected officials, and causing as much noise through social media, through the people that you know, having these conversations, and then having these conversations with your elected officials and holding them accountable. And it comes down to, listen, I see this is going on. What are you doing about it? I want answers. And enough people do this, it will make a change. I still believe that America has a democracy, all right? The problem is we're all too scared to say something. We want to complain behind our keyboards, we want to do something, but we don't actually want to have these conversations with people and educate people, all right? It simply is the concept of, and everybody's like, well, the troops should come home. Okay, well, you're not saying that about Germany. You're not saying that about Japan. We've held a contingent there since World War II. That was part of the agreement. We'll never allow that to happen again. So what's the difference with actual evil people? What's the difference between that and Afghanistan? Having 3,500 people in Afghanistan to keep the Taliban from doing what they just did. That's my point. All right. So, and if you don't and most people don't understand that, and that's okay. But it's having these conversations can change that, and then we go, oh, that makes sense. And there's some young man that goes, you know what? I will be the one to go stand on the wall to make sure I keep the wolf at bay. I was that young man, and there will be generations of young men. And I know we talk about this generation's weak. And for them, there is a lot of weakness in a lot of generations. There's a lot of weakness in Vietnam when people are running off to Canada. At the end of the day, though, there will always be good men to do violence. All right, on behalf of the red, white, and blue. Now, unfortunately, what I think that has to happen is, and what I foresee will happen is, hopefully, there will be individuals like myself that will go over there and have to redo this. And that's sad because it was already done. And that's going to be on our elected officials. That's going to be on our policymakers, because we cannot allow we cannot allow that evil to plant seed and to grow, because the world will suffer. The world will suffer. That country will suffer. Women and children will suffer. You want to talk about rights and human rights and feelings and all these different things that everybody's been complaining about for a year and a half. True atrocity will start to happen, and it's already started to happen. And so we need to, unfortunately, hopefully, there will be some very angry men to go do violence. Again, to keep the wolf at bay, so that America stays safe, so that truly your grandma stays safe, that your kids stay safe. And we're not fighting here because we fought for this. We escaped tyranny already, and we don't need to go back to it. And we don't need to bring an evil terrorism fight to our doorsteps. And the people have some good points. While this is happening, there are political players at play that are manipulating the situation. China, Russia. So there's bigger things at play here. But at the end of the day, we have to take care of our own, and we need to be the light in the world. And a lot of people don't understand that. And a lot of people and I said this on my Instagram, a lot of people don't agree with me, and that's okay. Because me and my friends swore an oath to stand up for them, even though they don't agree with my choices and my morals. And I don't agree with their choices and their morals. However, that's what's beautiful about this country, is we have the right. We have a God-given right to be free, to be who we are, to choose the occupation, to choose the partner that we want to be, without persecution. And it's a beautiful thing to have that voice, right? I don't have to agree with you, but I stand by your right to choose. I stand by your right to have that choice, to be free, and I would fight for it, and I'll die for it, and I have fought for it. And nonetheless, so keep that in mind. While you might not agree with somebody, especially our veterans, because they typically have a one side stance, keep in mind that person that you disagree with might have just fought for your right to disagree with them. All right, that's it. I just want to share that. I want to recap. It's you veterans out there that served in OIF, whatever it may be. You did your job, and we thank you. And America is better off because of it, because we had 20 years that we didn't have another 9/11 here, and that's amazing. That's because of the work that we did. All right, so it was all for naught. It was not all for naught. Excuse me. And nonetheless, thank you. And to the policymakers, to the military people, to the commanders, to the Joint Chiefs, do your fucking job. That's what you get paid to do. So do your fucking job. Stop eroding our rights and focus on the mission. Focus on what you're supposed to be, not critical race theory and all this other fucking bullshit. Focus on keeping the wolf at bay. And I talk about veterans about this, the same thing. Veterans always complain. They go, oh, well, the military didn't prepare me to be a good civilian. It's not meant to make you a good civilian. The military's world is to fight and win our nation's battles, to keep freedom free. All right? They're not good. They're not there to make you a good civilian. They're not there to make Nick a good civilian or a good business owner or a good husband or father. They're there to make me a good Marine and to go fight on behalf of the country, to fight terrorism. That's their mission. So the military and our commanders and our Joint Chiefs need to focus on that. Focus on your fucking job, keeping the wolf at bay. All right? All right, I love you guys. Keep sharing the good news, man. All right.